Okay, and we are live for the Power Chat series. Today is the USA Sport Karate season opener post show. So, our guest is Jose Leno. He coached and he judged this first tournament for USA Sport Karate. So, that's why we have him on here today to talk about the tournament and also just more about himself as a martial artist. So, Jose, how are you doing today?
Doing great, doing great. Excited to be here.
Thanks so much. So I see you're in your uniform and class is probably going on right
Yes.
behind you. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you taking the time. Why don't you just tell me how the season opener went from your perspective?
It went great. I think things moved pretty smooth. The rinks that I was able to help with moved quickly. Um, we had a lot of new judges, which is always great to have new people coming in to help some of our old people. So
When you say old, you mean experienced, of course.
experience, yes, yes,
Okay.
vintage.
So how many mats were there and how many competitors? What was the competition like?
Eight rings.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you the number. It looked to be a million, but it could have been probably 300 competitors plus families. Uh, Again, no, not a lot of no complaints. I get to work the crowd sometimes when I'm a coach, be going between rings. So I
Mhm.
hear some of the parents. I know some of the parents. They talk to me, and there were not really any big complaints. The usual here and there,
Mhm.
everybody has their perspective, I guess. So everybody has to know, a way to look at something and say it should have been like this, but
Mhm.
nothing negative.
Okay. And you have the Lions Den Martial Arts School. How many students did you bring for this tournament?
I brought eight. There were going to be nine. One of my young girls got sick the night before. Um, I want to go back to, I used to bring 20 kids to those events, and after COVID, I lost quite a few. So, trying to build the team back up, and I think this is a great venue to bring them to the USA Sports Karate League.
Yeah, there's multiple tournaments in the Florida and the Southeast area in general. How long have you been kind of associated with USA Sport Karate?
It's been a while, I guess, maybe going on 10 years, give or
Wow.
take.
And so you know kind of the whole process. Judges need to be certified. You can't just pull anybody in. Tell me more about that.
I love that idea. I loved that the judge has to get a certification, to show that he knows most of it. Now the judges don't make mistakes, and we don't know every rule perfectly. Uh, yeah, the way they do it is interesting. They have white shirts for new judges, so kind of like a white belt. Red shirts for intermediate, kind of like a red belt in our styles, and then finally a black shirt. So getting to each level comes with experience, and it's been a little while um, that I've been with him, and I've competed up north in other events here in Florida, and I think this league is the most organized. That's why I stick around and support it.
Yeah, organized. They really have their handle on making things go smoothly. Speaking of which, how was the timing of the tournament? When did people come in and when were they able to leave?
The timing was good. I thought, like again, every ring ran pretty smooth. Especially in the rings that I was associated with, either with my students competing or me helping.
Hmm.
I think they ran on time. We started at 8:30. The whole event was done by what, 3:30, 4 o'clock, give or take. So it went pretty good. And we had a Friday night event also, and that went really smooth. I came in at 6, and we were mostly done by 9.
Nice. How are you able to, maybe this is more of a general question, but help out judging as well as give your students the proper time and coaching to make sure they succeed?
I don't like it. Um, when I'm judging, I like to just judge. That I want to focus on that one task. And when I'm coaching, I want the same thing. I just want to coach. Um, Unfortunately, uh, again, due to COVID and other things, I used to have a partner, and things didn't work out, and money wasn't there, and so now I'm trying to hold it by myself. So it's switching back and forth. I don't care for it. Unfortunately, as a school owner, I have to cater to my students to some degree. make sure they're getting their fair shake and in my attention.
Hmm.
And again, I support the league itself, and I want to be there to do the job, which is to judge.
Tell me more about your school, though, the style, how long you've been open, and
Um,
your philosophy.
so we teach Tong Sudo. Um, our Tong Sudo, being Korean, is very closely tied to Japanese styles like Shotokan, for example. Our forms are very similar, slight differences. Um, I've had the school going on 17 years. This June will be 17 years that I've been open, ups and downs with it. And I've been teaching, I want to say 20 years. I started up north in Maryland. That's kind of where I grew up, Northern Virginia, Maryland area. So I taught up in Maryland. That's how I got started, um, in a chain school, and then
Mm.
decided to open up my own dojo and moved down here to beautiful San Agustin, Florida, and opened up my first dojo out of my garage.
So speaking of, you have experience in chain schools, so do I, and then opening up your own. What type of, can you expand more on maybe the flexibility or control you might have on your own curriculum and or the way you teach?
Um, Well, I think in chain restaurant, kind of like a chain restaurant, right? A chain martial arts school is like a chain restaurant.
Hmm.
They want to look very similar. So when you walk in, it's the same experience.
Hmm.
Places like Ruby Tuesdays or Cracker Barrel will do that. They all look pretty much the same decor. And I think that's what they try. So if you're in this school, but you need to go to this school for whatever reason,
Hmm.
you're walking to the same curriculum that the same
Hmm.
message is being told. So, you know, there's so many ways to do what we do and teach it properly.
Hmm.
Um, I think there are a lot of great instructors in chain schools. I think sometimes they get so caught up in the must-do checklist that they get almost automated.
Hmm.
I think the flexibility of owning my own school is that I'm constantly getting feedback either from the parents or the students that make me take a step back and realize that maybe I need to change this in the way I'm teaching it because it's not working the right way. And that can change. So over the years, I've noticed that you have a group of students that are with you a few years and they learn a certain way as a group. And then once they grow up and move forward, the next group learns a different way and you have to
Hmm.
sort of adapt, which is what martial arts teaches us. So the flexibility is that I can constantly adapt to the changes. I don't have to stay with a
Hmm.
same path.
Now, you mentioned you've been with USA Sport Karate for the past 10 years. Do you frequent the other tournaments in their league?
Um, we've tried going to a lot of the events in the northern region, pretty much Orlando and up.
Okay.
Uh, Cocoa Beach, I think, is the only one south of Orlando that we've attended. Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Um, the parents just don't. My parents don't seem to want to drive all the way that far, and I think
Yeah.
it's a shame.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, we say I own my own business and my own boss. It's not true. The parents are my boss. If I don't treat them right, they don't pay, and then I have no money. So
Mm.
sometimes I have to step back and be a bit of a diplomat and make things right, I guess.
Yeah. I forget how long Florida kind of is. It's not
Oh yeah.
just 30 minutes here and you can get somewhere, or even an hour or 2 hours. It's a pretty long state.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
I
I
wouldn't
can.
trade it though. I love Florida. I don't like snow, so I'm great here.
Oh, well, today I froze my tail off in 20-degree weather. So
Oh, where are
uh,
you at?
I'm in Omaha, Nebraska. So I was
Oh,
outside all
yeah.
day.
Maybe I'll visit in the summer one day out of the blue, but
Well, the
yeah, that's
summer, we get the worst of each season. In the summer, it's like 100 degrees too. So
I
I,
love
I just don't
100.
recommend it. But
Awesome.
back to the USA Sport Karate event. Tell me more about the 8 students that you brought, how they performed, what they performed in, any trophies that they brought back.
Yeah, actually, I had a couple first timers that walked away with third and fourth place, so they were happy with their awards, obviously. And I had a couple of black belts, more seasoned competitors, did pretty well, second, third. No first place this time around, but you know, when you're on first place, everybody wants that spot, so you
Hmm.
slack a little bit. And sometimes I like when my students lose because it makes them realize that they're slacking. They want to get better. They got to put more work. So
That
sometimes
extra
a good
motivation, it's
experience. Yeah.
undescribable when you are just a place off of where you want to be. So sometimes you're
Yes.
right, it's nice.
Yeah. It's
What's
good
the
learning lessons. That's why I like tournaments. Tournaments are a good way to teach life lessons
mhm.
because sometimes things just get messed up and it's not fair and you lose. Well, that's the way life is.
Oh. How long have you just been in the competition scene?
Uh, I guess I started when I was about 17 up north in Maryland. I started
Uh-huh.
with Verdicts and U.S. Capitals
Okay.
Classics. Those are the ones I used to frequent as an under belt.
What was
Uh,
the first one that you said?
Verdicts
Huh. That's
up
I think that
north.
was before when I started. Cap Classics was my first spectator tournament that I spectated at.
Uh,
But yeah, okay.
yeah, those were the ones I got started. And then some other smaller tournaments, smaller schools or circuits in that area.
Hmm.
Um, then I left the scene because I joined the military, moved around, started my family, and then I got back into the martial arts and I started competing again up north. And then I
Yeah.
moved here. I tried a few events. I try to go to U.S. Open every year just for the fun of it, kind of test myself against my peers. I've gone to a couple of USA sports events, um, but as I get older, my body's not moving as smoothly as it used to, so I don't compete as often.
Well, martial arts is just an itch that doesn't go away. There's
It
people
doesn't.
that,
It doesn't.
take a step back, do life for a little bit, and then come back in because it's a lifestyle.
Oh, it's a lifestyle. I'm envious of some of the things some of these kids can do. I mean, a shout out to, I can't say the whole last name, but Hugo, that little
Mhm.
kid. First time I saw him, I thought this little shy kid, and then he started working that staff, and my jaw dropped. There's a lot of amazing competitors in this league, and
Mhm.
some people say, "Oh, it's just a small league." I see these same kids that are winning, being champs at big NASCAR events and ISKA events, and they're winning and they're doing great. So I think we have a great set of competitors and judges.
I think that's a great way to wrap up this interview because that's something that I think sometimes regional or smaller leagues are like, oh, it's just a regional league, but it's people now are wanting to compete again since COVID, and they're going to local and regional tournaments and dominating there and stepping to other leagues as well. So, what is your next tournament for either yourself to judge or your students?
Next month, I think February. I have the schedule behind me, but I haven't memorized it.
Okay,
So
but it's
yeah,
next month.
so this
So,
is February. We're gonna be at the next USA Sports event.
all
Look
right,
forward to seeing everybody.
great. Okay, well, I'm sure we'll have the pre and post show for that on Point Fighter Live. So, Jose, thank you so much for coming on to the Power Chat series. I appreciate you talking just
Thank you.
about you and your work.
Thank you. I appreciate the time. Have
Okay,
a great night.
everybody watching, thank you for tuning in to the Power Chat series. I have another one coming up tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, have a good night, everybody.
Have a good night.